could be describing the war-torn streets of Beirut, the jungle highlands of El Salvador's Civil War, or the bloody sidewalks of Soweto. But this battlefield is on the streets and back alleys of America's cities. Here in this netherworld of graffiti, secret handshakes, and customized sweaters, street gangs have cut up city neighborhoods into a checkerboard of well-marked territories. Finding yourself in the wrong neighborhood, wearing the wrong colors, could be a fatal faux pas.
Someone comes into our neighborhood, we don't really like it. It bothers us. We don't know who they are. And that's how most gangs are, you know. That's why a lot of people get trouble when they move into our neighborhood and stuff.
Want to, say like we wanted a territory for our drugs, We don't want no other club jumping in and saying, oh, we're going to sell drugs. No, keep out of ours and we'll keep out of yours. That's what sometimes starts a lot of killings, and that starts a lot of rivalry.
Mr. Kent is the president of the 30th Street section of the Villa Lobos, literally the Village Wolves. He joined the gangs 6 years ago. Angel lives only a few blocks away, and he and Mr. Kent could have grown up best friends. But instead, at 8 years old, Angel began riding with a rival gang, the Maniac Latin Disciples.
We're in war every day. It's an everyday thing. You always got to watch yourself, because if you run into somebody, that's trouble. If you run into the opposition, that's trouble right there. That's what you have to be aware of. So really, it's every day. It's not like, you're in peace for a little while and then you get back at it again. It's every day. It's on your back all the time.
I went to the party and somebody in there started arguing. And a fight broke out. There was shot. Somebody was behind me. I didn't see who it was until he shot me. When I fell to the ground, I looked at his face and he was gonna shoot me again, but I don't know. I guess the fear in his heart stopped him or something.
You feel safe?
Not really.
No.
I'm always, you watch your back, you have to, you're little kids.
The Robert Taylor Homes, a huge Chicago housing project along the Dan Ryan Expressway, is home for thousands of people and a number of major gangs. The lines are carefully drawn, with many of the buildings literally controlled by the resident street gangs. One occupant who has lived here for 19 years raised 6 boys in the project. Her 7th was killed here.
And I'm arrested here. And I'm afraid my son even go to school. Alone.
These red pills father back here, we call a hole. And the holes are the type of bills that you would not want to go in. They have a reputation of being so bad, they don't care about anything.
Problem is very intense in the CHA projects throughout the city.
Ernie DiBenedetto heads up the gang prosecution unit of the state's attorney's office.
Over the last several years, we've been averaging in the area of 70 gang homicides per year. And that is very, very serious. And that doesn't count the numerous incidences of shootings where somebody's seriously injured, robberies, burglaries, narcotics trafficking, which gangs thrive on. So we do have a very serious problem.
It's not a good outlook. There's very few gang members that really get out and go straight.
I think they should try to understand them, because there's a purpose to gangbangers. It's not all that bad.
You have to take a whole new approach about gangs itself. A whole different approach has to be done, because
understanding gangs is a complex and tedious process. Each gang is a unique organization with its own history, folklore, and leadership structure, and much of that information is intentionally shrouded in ambiguity and wild exaggeration. The reasons why young men and women join gangs are often found in the intersection of diverse psychological, social, and spiritual factors. The effects of these conditions are multiplied many times over in the crowded neighborhoods and parks of the inner city. Moving these gang members out of the gang structure towards meaningful and productive participation within the larger social and economic system is likewise a highly personal and sensitive process. During the next hour, we will confront these issues and attempt to answer many of these questions through the eyes of gang members and those who work most closely with them. Street gangs are not a new phenomenon. Bands of street urchins terrorize the alleys of 19th century London and Amsterdam, engaging in petty thievery and property damage. As the city sprang up in the New World, With their own poverty and disease-stricken ghettos, the problem of street gangs in America's urban centers began. In 1927, an early sociologist, Frederick M. Thrasher, authored a study entitled The Gangs, which detailed the organization of 1,313 gangs based in Chicago. These gangs were organized around ethnic origin. Most of them were made up of first-generation European immigrants who brought their feudal rivalries with them. Interestingly, the late Chicago mayor, Richard J. Daley, was a member of an Irish, Bridgeport-based gang called the Hamburgs. They fought bitterly with the Canaryville gang located just south of Bridgeport. But the world today is much different than it was when Thrasher studied the gangs in the 20s, and the bare knuckles of the Hamburgs have been replaced by knives and guns among gangs such as the Spanish Cobras and the Vice Lords. This is a development that Dr. Irving Spergel, professor of sociology at the University of Chicago, has been studying for a long time.
The kid often has some difficulties in the family. And as time goes on, the gang doesn't get him anywhere. He gets more frustrated, and the level of violence increases.
The gangs that were once maybe a neighborhood group that would settle a difference with a fist fight have now become rather sophisticated, involving younger people. There's a great deal of money and drug traffic involved, and of course there's the use of weapons. So it's a whole different story now.
Well, corner from Raccoon Potomac, that's like a drive-in, you know, that's one of the main corners.
You gotta get money somehow, and you do it the best way you can.
Well, there's a little bit of everything, you know, extortion, prostitution, drugs.
Street gangs in the 1980s have not only traded in their bats and chains for shotguns and Saturday night specials, many have also evolved into major outlets for narcotics trafficking.
Any street gang that's organized to make money, and not all of them are, but most try in some way to raise some money for their funds. Any gang that tries consciously usually does so through narcotics. That's the #1 source of income for a street gang.
Narcotics and gangs are hand in hand. Narcotic traffic, narcotic activity is the #1 source of income for the gangs out here in the city of Chicago. It has been for quite a while.
And when you ain't trying to get money, you run up in violence. You have to fight for your money, because you ain't gonna let no one take nothing from you, you know.
Every night on street corners all over Chicago, young boys ride their bicycles up to the tinted car windows of Gold Coast executives, suburban housewives, and Lincoln Park yuppies, where cash and cocaine is exchanged. This efficient curbside service is responsible for millions of dollars in drug sales and is the final link in a complex narcotics network.
We've got certain areas around here that are quite known for narcotics. And we will see these cars with your various suburban stickers on the window. Often you'll see a car with an out-of-state plate on it. We know where they're going. We just monitor activity and make the arrest when possible. It seems that there's certain areas which people from all around the city happen to frequent to, in fact, buy their narcotics.
The narcotics can be traced back as far as, you know, out of the country. But they have suppliers, and each gang deals differently in terms of their supply that they go to get large quantities. It's very simple. One person can distribute those large quantities to many runners in a street gang, and they all have a turf and a territory to go out and sell.
We got some people that go pick it up. You know, they bring it to us. You know, we pay them off, and then from there, and we pay them for the stuff too. And then we just keep it, and then from there, we'll like put it in bags, you know, separate everything, and then we just get someone in the corner to sell it. And they'll be selling it, and they make so much, you know, for themselves too. You know, they make a little profit for themselves, and we make profit from them selling it for us.
In this particular case, a young gang member responsible for moving a load of cocaine did not anticipate the surprise arrival of a gang crimes unit.
One of the main narcotic areas in this particular location, as you can see, there are a lot of people watching. We do numerous surveillances over here. We normally sit down a block or so, watch the transactions for a while. He was trying to sell to this other kid over there when he realized I saw balls in his socks. I figured that's where all the bags were at. That's what we tried to run us. We had to subdue him over there and recover the rest of the narcotics from him. It's like a candy store out here. We're out here every night. We try to curtail as much as we can, make the arrests as often as possible. As you can see right now, complete disregard for law and order. They don't care. They don't care about us. We could have been a blue and white car just as well as them our car. They just continue to sell their dope out here. They're all gang members. As you can see, this gentleman right here is wearing the colors of the gang that run this particular area. He's an active member, self-admitted. As we mentioned earlier during the conversation, narcotics once again is their main source of income.